Welcome back to Football Daily. With the new season upon us, we've picked out 10 teams you should keep your eye on. 10. Arsenal. For the first time in nearly 10 years, Arsenal fans have no idea what to expect going into the new season. The Gunners usually commence their campaigns in disastrous form, with a lack of quality signings and Wenger facing criticism from all angles. But with a new man in town, the Emirates is a new hive of optimism. Unai Emery's appointment has generally been seen as a safe bet. The man has clear pedigree, having taken Sevilla to 3 consecutive Europa Leagues. Furthermore, his experience at Valencia, where he maintained the club's third-place position in La Liga despite the continual loss of key personnel like David Villa, David Silva and Juan Mata, will be an invaluable asset. With Arsenal's management restructure now complete, the club have moved to sort out problem areas on the field. The acquisition of Bernd Leno should finally mask Petr Cech's fall from grace, and the signing of Lucas Torreira should make their midfield look all the more solid. We have no doubt that mistakes will be made this campaign, but Arsenal fans can finally enjoy supporting a club with a direction. 9. Inter Milan. 2017-18 was a rollercoaster for fans of Inter Milan. The Nerazzurri stayed unbeaten until December before embarking on a disastrous run of form, winning just 8 more games for the rest of the campaign. But after pipping Lazio to 4th place on the final day of the season, they will compete in the Champions League for the first time in 7 years. And this summer has seen Spalletti further instill his vision on the club, bringing in former acolyte Raja Nainggolan to bolster the midfield, and also acquiring Kwadwo Asamoah and Stefan de Vrij on frees from Juve and Lazio. This gives the former Roma boss more tactical flexibility going into the new season, while Lautaro Martinez's arrival from Argentina should lessen the pressure on captain Icardi to provide the goals. Right now, Inter seem to be rivaling Juventus with their knack for good business, and they may well have the tools to challenge the old lady for the Scudetto this time round. 8. Real Betis. Real Betis may possess more modest ambitions than Inter, but they can still look into the new season with plenty of hope. The second half of 2017-18 saw the Seville club climb up the La Liga table and record their best finish since 2005 when they qualified for the Champions League. And that 4th spot could now be within reach. The signing of Marc Bartra in January was a masterstroke for manager Quique Setien, allowing him to switch to 5 at the back and add defensive strength to his exciting brand of football, with the former Barcelona defender also able to step out of the back line and create chances. Betis are now an even more attractive prospect for quality players, and the club are currently looking to buy back Dani Ceballos, plus another former La Masia product in Munir. Reinforcements are certainly needed, as the club's qualification for the Europa League means the squad will have to be managed more carefully in 2018-19. Nevertheless, Setien will be relishing the chance to showcase his tactical philosophies in Europe for the first time in his managerial career. Watch this space. 7. Wolverhampton Wanderers. Another club on the road to redemption are Wolverhampton Wanderers, who have been on a steep upward curve since George Mendes turned his attentions towards the West Midlands in 2017. At the time of recording, Wolves have brought in a manager and 4 players from the Liga NOS in 12 months. And after tearing the championship to shreds, Ruben Neves will be hungry to play in a league that matches his level. The defensive midfielder contributed to 7 goals in 2017-18 and will be key for Nuno Espirito Santo as he looks to continue the club's remarkable form. In fact, since taking over at the Molineux in summer 2017, the former Porto boss has overseen just 2 home losses in all competitions. Pundits are usually quick to discount newly promoted Premier League teams, despite clear evidence of the Championship's growing strength. However, with Wolves' newfound riches and connections, it will be a very big surprise if anyone tips them to be fighting relegation. 6. Parma. Parma only suffered the humiliation of financial ruin and demotion to the non-professional Serie D 3 years ago, but remarkably, they have already made their way back to the Italian top flight. It will also be manager Roberto D'Aversa's first taste of Serie A football as a coach. In fact, he only retired from playing 5 years ago, following a journeyman's career in the 2nd tier. They obviously have nowhere near the wealth of the heady days of the late 90s, but Parma have still bolstered their squad considerably ahead of their return to Serie A. Perhaps most importantly, they've made their loan deal for Napoli's Jacopo Dessi permanent. The 26-year-old contributed to 7 goals from centre mid in their promotion campaign. And they've also added Benevento's Fabio Serravolo, who averaged a strike every 111 minutes last term. They may have scored fewer goals than Serie B's bottom-placed Ternana last season, but Parma also had by far the best defensive record in the division. D'Aversa's side are by no means a safe bet to stay up, but following the latest chapter in their rise from the ashes will certainly be interesting. 5. Sporting Club. But if you'd rather watch a team descend on a downward spiral, then Sporting Club are probably your answer. Their 2017-18 season ended in calamity, starting with President Bruno de Carvalho threatening to suspend 19 first-team players following their defeat to Atletico Madrid in the Europa League. And what followed was full-on disgraceful. A month later, Sporting's players were physically attacked at their training ground by a group of ultras, in an assault largely believed to have been influenced by Carvalho's public outbursts. The man dubbed the Donald Trump of football has now been turfed out of the club, but for all his major faults, he did go some way to rescuing Sporting after their atrocious 2012-13 season, generally considered the worst in the Lisbon club's history. As well as this, they'll have to deal with the loss of captain William Carvalho, vice-captain Rui Patricio, and a number of other high-profile players after they terminated their contracts in the aftermath of the fan attack. The historic Portuguese club could be in for a new low in the coming campaign. 4. West Ham. No, somehow this isn't a mistake. A club we've constantly slated in the past for being an utter shambles are seemingly doing everything right so far this pre-season. After scraping Premier League survival thanks to David Moyes, well, mainly Arnautovic, it seems as if the Dildo brothers are finally getting their act together. After letting the Mo Sislak lookalike go, their first act was bringing in the first non-European Premier League winning manager, Manuel Pellegrini. His Man City side scored 151 goals in all competitions in 13-14, an English record, and although we can't see the Hammers bagging anywhere near that amount, at least fans can look forward to some exciting football for the first time since Dimitri Payet left. They've also conducted smart business, no, we can't believe it either, bringing in highly rated Toulouse centre-half Issa Diop, Jack Wilshere from Arsenal, Yarmolenko from Dortmund, Lucas Fabianski from Swansea, and Felipe Anderson for a club record fee. Add in Ryan Fredericks on a free, and there's some genuine buzz around East London for the first time since Danny Dyer appeared on EastEnders. 3. Eintracht Frankfurt. On the face of things, you'd think there wouldn't be much to look forward to for Die Adler next year. Despite qualifying for the Europa League for the first time since 2013, their manager Niko Kovac has joined Bayern Munich, and legendary forward Alex Meyer ended his 14-year stay at the club. But there's two simple reasons as to why Frankfurt fans should be hopeful: Adi Hütter and Luka Jovic. Starting with their new boss Hütter, the 48-year-old was reportedly chased by Bayern Munich, and it's not hard to see why. The Austrian worked wonders with young boys in Switzerland with their super high-pressing style, winning them their first league title in 32 years. Meanwhile, Serbian striker Luka Jovic might not have started any games for his country at the World Cup, but he's in the second season of his 2-year loan at the Commerzbank Arena and has already made a big impression. The centre-forward was compared to the legendary Davor Šuker by former boss Kovac and netted 0.8 goals per 90 in his 22 appearances. Let's hope he can carry that form into Europe this season. 2. Liverpool. Who would have thought that a team containing a 19-year-old right-back, Dejan Lovren, and Loris Karius could ever reach the Champions League final? The Kopites can thank Mane, Firmino and Salah, as well as a dusting of Jurgen Klopp magic, but although they fell at the final hurdle, there's plenty of optimism for the Red Men next campaign. Boosted by the early news of Naby Keita arriving at Anfield, a shock move for Fabinho now means their midfield is sorted for years to come. They are both under 25, and as well as being quicker and more agile than the ageing Milner and Henderson, they also trump them statistically. Combined, Fab and Nab, as we're now calling them, made 8.4 tackles and interceptions per game last season, while Milner and Henderson managed 5.5 between them. The new boys on the block are also more dynamic in midfield, completing 3.6 dribbles between them, while the Englishmen managed just one combined. While a move for Fekir may have fallen through, Klopp is on his way to forming a midfield that is worthy of being behind such a quality attacking trio. If they manage to get in another centre-half and a keeper, there's no reason as to why they can't challenge on all fronts in the 18-19 season. 1. Atletico Madrid. It may come as no surprise that one of the best sides in the world are our biggest ones to watch. But given the fact that Barcelona and Real Madrid's squads are arguably the weakest they've been in years, there's no better time for Atleti to try and regain the Spanish crown. Los Colchoneros have also been shrewd in the transfer markets, picking up Rodri from Villarreal for €20 million, while obtaining Thomas Lemar from Monaco for around €60 million. Arguably, the signing of Rodri was more important though, with Atleti getting the Gabi replacement they so desperately needed. Rodri manages 4.2 tackles and interceptions per game, more than Gabby, while also completing 4.4 long balls per game, also an upgrade on their captain's passing range. The two signings aren't the only good news for Atleti fans either, with Diego Simeone extending his contract to 2020 and Griezmann ensuring his future in the Spanish capital with the release of a cringe-worthy documentary. A midfield of Koke, Saul, Rodri and Lamar with Griezmann and Diego Costa up top. Now that is a very exciting prospect.
Well done! You've finished the video. For some more great content, click right here, you dirty dogs. And as ever, don't forget to like and subscribe. I mean it.